Hey y'all, I'm Blaine Phillips.
And I'm Phillips-LeVan.
We're married, like just a minute ago, but we've been together for 14 years.
We have a teenage daughter.
Which means she's basically an adult, right?
We're also growing a business on the side together.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Through all of that, we've learned how to improve so many aspects of our lives and show up in an amazing way.
So we decided to host a podcast to share our journey with you.
It's called Let's Do Life Together, because that's just what we want to do with you.
So if you could use some tips and tricks on how to make life a little smoother,
then you're in the right place.
Come on in and let's do life.
I'm a total Pinterest surfer. I do love Pinterest. And I will be honest, there are two things that I pin the most. Recipes. I'm always here for a good new recipe. And inspirational quotes. I don't know. They get me every time. I've probably read the same quote 15 times, but you hear it differently in a different time. Anyway, today's episode is based on a Pinterest-worthy quote. I believe it's probably on Pinterest. I'm sure it is. You can't improve what you don't measure. But it's kind of true. You can't. How can you improve something if you don't know where you're starting from, if you're not measuring it along the way? So that's what we're going to talk about today, because I'm betting it's time for you to start tracking something, at least just one thing in your life, because you want to improve it. So you got to track it. You ready, Jason? What do you pin when you...
I don't do that.
Do you go on Pinterest? No. Do you like inspirational quotes?
Sometimes.
Do you like this one?
That one's good.
Do you track
it's good.
things?
Oh, yeah. I track all kinds of stuff.
Oh, boy. I bet you do.
But I think this is a good time of year to start talking about this, because as people start their New Year's resolutions in a few weeks, they're well intended. And I think one key thing would be if they can implement some kind of tracking. So usually the resolution is around some kind of self-improvement. So they need to, like you said, measure where they're starting from, what they're doing, and see the results that way.
Yeah, because your resolution is likely about where you want to go. It's the goal, so you got that part covered, but where are you starting at, and what method are you used to tracking it? Because I guarantee, because I have, and Jason probably has, but I bet you've tossed out some phrase like, we never have sex. We don't have any money for that. I ate too much today. I didn't eat enough today. And the question is, do you really know? Like, do you really never have sex? Do you really not have any money? Like, you're throwing out these phrases and you're believing them to be true. Your words are making them true, but are they really true? You probably really don't know sometimes. I know I've said it. I can guarantee some years ago, I've said, we never have sex, because that's how it felt to me. Jason and I were in a hard season. We weren't connected. We certainly weren't doing it that often. It felt like never. It was not never. It wasn't, but I didn't know. I couldn't really have said to you when the last time was we had, because I wasn't tracking. You don't know. So instead of throwing out those phrases, starting to believe that they are true, let's talk about ways that, or think these particular areas that you probably want to look at, track, and ways that you can track in those.
Yeah, I think a common one that I think of is water. So, water affects so many things. And if you ask people, are you drinking enough water? Yeah. But are they? Like, how much water do you drink every day?
Part one, do you know how much enough is?
Right. Do you know? And then how do you... give me the evidence that you drink enough water. So, I got off track, I think, or I was curious. For me, that was a thing that I was intentional with a while back. You don't keep tracking the same thing. Once it becomes a habit, you can kind of stop tracking to some extent, but I think it's good to kind of check back in and see how you're doing.
Yeah, that's a great point. We're not here to tell you to track all the things all the time, or even one thing all the time. It's just think about something that you feel like you're not doing that great in at the moment, or you want to improve, or it's been on your heart. Like, then it's probably time to track that. So that's how you were feeling about water, right?
I was curious. I was like, I don't know if I'm getting as much water as I need. Like, I drink water throughout the day. I've got my water bottle, but actually, like, counting how many times do I empty that bottle into my face. So there's that. And then also when you, just the act of tracking gives your attention to that thing too. So you're probably going to do better with the things that you track.
Yeah, and water's simple. Many people have a little thing on their Fitbit or your watch, like whatever kind of fitness tracker you have, where you can tick away your bottles of water or make a little note. Or I've seen people who like literally put ponytail holders on their water bottle, and they'll like start them all at the top and then slide them a little bit to the bottom as they fill one to help them remember. So if your goal is to drink 5 water bottles in a day, wrap 5 rubber bands, ponytail holders, whatever it is around your bottle, and just slide them down throughout the day and see how you're doing.
Yeah, I know last week we said don't buy stuff, but if you're going to buy stuff, buy a good water bottle and a fitness tracker.
Know how many ounces are in your water bottle, and then know how many you should drink. You should be drinking half of your body weight in ounces a day, minimum. If you're a regular person who's not super sweaty, not killing it in the gym, and sweating it all out. So if you weigh 100 pounds, you should be drinking 50 ounces of water. So if you have a 10-ounce water bottle, which I don't think that's a thing, you drink 5 of those in a day, whatever it is. That's something you should track. You can track. Another thing I think about is nutrition. We are so quick to throw out, I ate too much today, but did you really? Or I didn't eat enough. Well, did you really? Like, what does that mean? Or I ate so badly, when badly equals like you had a cookie after your lunch and a great breakfast and a big salad and a healthful piece of salmon and some Brussels sprouts for dinner, and you're telling yourself you ate so badly because you enjoyed a chocolate chip cookie. Newsflash, that's not badly. Like, did you enjoy the cookie? Did you eat a carton of cookies? Like, no, that's not badly. So instead of throwing those statements out and starting to believe them and starting to beat yourself up about it, nutrition is relatively easily tracked, and you don't have to go crazy with it. You can just have a snapshot of where you are right now. You can use a pen and paper and just write down kind of what you ate that day. You can use MyFitnessPal. It's free. We love that app. There's everything under the sun is in there. You'd be hard pressed not to even find my Fuji apple chicken salad that I love from Panera is already in there. I don't have to load that information. I just check that I had that for lunch and then look back. How are you doing? How did you balance up? Like, did you eat vegetables that day? How many? Like, where are you at? And then that really starts to dig into what are your specific goals? Like, are you really wanting to focus on vegetables? Are you a micro person right now? Like, what are you going for? But whatever that is, I can guarantee you need to track it. You need to know where you're at if you want to improve upon it, if it's an area you don't feel like is solid at the moment.
Right. It could be that you're tracking that you ate breakfast. It could, because that could be a habit that you want to focus on. So having in mind what your goals are, or what you want to be doing in all these areas is important, and then making the tracking as easy as possible, because if it's hard to track, you're not going to do it. So the apps definitely help. The watches help. If spreadsheet is your jam, do that.
Pen and paper. I was going for 5 servings of vegetables today. Tick, tick, tick. Hit it. Like, whatever your goals are and whatever is the easiest way for you to track that specific goal. But instead of telling yourself that you ate so badly, or you want to feel better in your body, or you want to lose that 5 pounds, I guarantee the trick is in tracking it, is writing it down. Because when you start to write it down, just like Jason mentioned earlier, you're going to be more mindful in that area. You're not going to want to write down that you ate a box of Oreos. So bet if you're writing, you won't eat the box of Oreos. I also think about exercise. Like that's an area that is probably time to track. If that's something that you're not feeling like you're slaying or you want to start doing it, whatever it is something that we can track. And again, this comes back to your personal goals. If you're not exercising at all whatsoever and you want to start, set a goal for yourself twice a week and then give yourself a gold star on the calendar when you do. Track it and improve. If you were able to make it 15 minutes today and you can improve upon that and make it 20 the next day, like wherever you are, that tracking is important to getting you to your goals. How many times a week did you exercise? How long did you exercise? If you're weightlifting, are you going up in weights? Where are you at? If you're running, how far are you running? How fast are you running? There's so many variables to tracking.
Right. Right. And it comes back just like nutrition. It's whatever your goals are. So, it's great that everybody's tracking their steps. Like that's a really good starting point. That means you've moved your body a certain amount of times. But, if overall fitness is one of your goals, then just getting 10,000 steps a day is not going to get you there. So getting your heart rate up, having, active minutes. So all of the fitness trackers kind of account for active minutes. That means you are getting your heart rate up for a certain amount of time. And you can plug in all these things in the apps. You can set goals and it will reward you and tell you when you've reached your goal.
I love it when mine like alarms and says, great job, you did it. I'm a goal achiever, check the box kind of girl myself, but there are great fitness trackers out there. It's also the great time of year to get it. One, there's so many specials for the holidays, and two, they're putting them on special because let's be honest, New Year's resolutions are going to be rolling out in a few weeks, and fitness trackers are a great way to get started. So we've had Fitbits in this house, not me personally, Jason and Sienna have. There are some great benefits to those. I had a Samsung Gear, which I really enjoyed. And now we are a Garmin family as we've gotten more into OCR races and things like that. They're really more designed for what we are currently interested in tracking, but that may change too. So think about, what are you interested in tracking? Steps, active minutes, certain types of workouts. What do you need it for? Are you a swimmer? Then you need a waterproof one. If you're able to invest in a fitness tracker, it's a great way to get started. If not, so is pen and paper. Like just write it down. Don't tell yourself, oh, I was such a slug this week when you made it to the gym 3 days for 3 1-hour workouts. That's not a slug. So I guarantee you're probably beating yourself up more than you should at times. And then there are times that you're being a little not so truthful with yourself. You think you did better than you did. So tracking is going to remind you of that. Oh boy, we're going to get into this next one. Oh boy, watch out, people. Alert, nerd coming in hot over here.
What is it? Is it sleep?
It is sleep.
You should track. Everybody should start tracking sleep today.
Jason, dial it in. We're not going down the sleep path.
How much sleep do you need? If your answer is, I don't need that much, or I don't need as much as other people, that's wrong. So the other thing that I think people are aware of is that you need more sleep opportunity than you're probably giving yourself. So being in your bed for 7 hours is not going to equal 7 hours of sleep. And you need the actual sleep. It helps everything. It cleans your brain. It gives you energy. It gives you focus. It suppresses hormones that trigger hunger. It's reduces the risk of Alzheimer's and some of these longer term diseases.
I feel like we, and by we I mean Jason, could do an entire episode on sleep, and I also feel like we probably will. But let me go ahead and lay this fact down. You need sleep. It is imperative and crucial for your life and your overall well-being. You need between 7.5 to 8 hours, and that's just a blanket statement. We're all a little different, but I need you to aim for that in sleep. Like he said, that does not mean in your bed. I mean sleep. So you're probably going to spend between 8 and 9 hours in your bed. And if you're not, and you're telling yourself that you don't need that much or you can't, it's just not true. You do. I'm telling you. Science says you do. So let's just call that a fact and track it. Be real. Look at it. I want to challenge you to take a look at it. Are you actually getting enough sleep? What time are you going to bed? What time are you getting up? How are you feeling? And you can get deeper into the quality of sleep that you're getting. That goes back to the fitness trackers. Many of them will do that same thing. They'll tell you your light, your REM, your deep, your all the different breakdowns of it. But you don't have to get too sciencey just yet. Look at your sleep. Like, write it down. What time? How much are you getting? How many hours are you in the bed?
If you're sleeping 6 hours, you're still going to be sleep deprived, and that's going to have short and long-term effects. Lots of people, it's 5 hours, 5.5 hours, and you can't get that back. When
we start working with a new client, one of the first things we ask is tell us about your sleep. Most people are like, I do pretty good. I get enough. We dig in. We find out that that's not true. I'm going to tell you that when working with us, that's the number one thing we want you to change. Before we talk about nutrition, before we talk about exercise, sleep. Sleep is the first thing and the key to changing so many other parts. It has long-term lasting effects on your health. So track your sleep.
You'll have better nutrition habits and you'll perform better when you exercise. It's just foundational. And I'll save all the other stuff, but
dial it down, brother, dial it down. We're moving on to finances. It's another thing. Many people track kinda. Like, I think we kinda pay our bill. Like, we pay our bills. You'll do your check register and you're like, when you're out of money and when you've got enough money to make it to the month. But are you really looking at it? Like, when's the last time you really printed it out and looked to see where your spending is going? What are you subscribed to that maybe you don't need to be? Where are you spending money that's maybe a little frivolous? Like, if you want to take a vacation next year, or you want to buy a new car, or you want to do something, you got to track your finances and see how you can get there. Finances is one of the biggest stressors in marriages and just with people. And a lot of that can be helped if you're tracking it. And by tracking, I don't just mean keeping your checkbook register up. I mean really deep diving, looking into it.
Right. Knowing your balances is not tracking it. Yeah. I remember years ago at work, a guy's wife, I think, took a look and tallied his eating out for the month, and it was $400 or something, just for lunches, because he just always go out. And I mean, that's fine, but is that where you want your money to go?
If that's a priority for you, then keep on rocking on. But if it's not, and you're complaining and you can't take your kids on vacation, or you can't afford a new car, what in the world kind of car payment could $400 a month get you?
Right. And all these things, kind of tie together too. So if you want to spend your money on higher quality foods for your nutrition goals, well, taking a look at your finances can help you find where you can afford that, or move that money towards that, or a gym membership, or whatever it is, or your fitness tracker.
Yeah, working with a coach, whatever that may be. Again, please remember, we're not here trying to tell you to start tracking all these things, or even 3 of these things at once. It's just the idea that we're constantly looking at where are we at, where we want to improve, what might we need to track right now. These are real life things that we have tracked at one time or another. We are tracking. Jason's tracking his water currently. These are just particular areas that we want you to think about, and maybe there's something that you will track in the future, or you have, or whatever. The other thing, the next one I think about is sex.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Let's start tracking.
Oh boy, you already do.
I do.
You
That's
do,
true.
don't you? I knew it. I knew he was going to say yes. He does. But that also avoids the "we never have sex" statement. Like, yes, I said track it. No, it does not take the romance out of it. Like, it gets it present in your mind. Like we told you, when you track things, you're more mindful about it. And if you're feeling disconnected from your partner.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's not, I don't track it and then come back and say, you know, we didn't check this box enough this week, so come on. It's more of
please do that. That'll definitely get you somewhere with me.
Right. It's more of, you know, hey, we haven't connected like this in 10 days. Is there something going on? Oh, well, you've been sick and we've been traveling or whatever. Like,
this is a conversation you're having in your own brain,
right? Not
to me,
right?
Yeah.
So it's all right. What is there? Just some other disconnect? Like, what's happening? So.
Yeah, I mean, it's not we're not talking about a tally card where you go to them and be like, "Excuse me, we are slated for 4 days a week and you only hit 2. I'm going to need you to check this box twice more this week. Do you understand me, little missy?" Like, that's not what we're going for. It's an awareness. It's an awareness for you personally and for your partner personally. And maybe they don't track, but it's just for you. Like, oh gosh, we're feeling disconnected. I haven't seen him. Well, it's because we haven't been to bed together in 10 days and we haven't made time for each other. We haven't had sex. Like, it's a connection. If you are in a long-term relationship with someone, whether you're married, whether you're life partners, whether you're whatever, having sex is a part of the relationship.
You need to be doing that.
Right. You need to do that. And if you're not doing that, there's an issue. I'm just telling you. So there you go. Go do it. And then maybe you need to track it. Maybe you need to know. I go through seasons where I'm like, and I'll track it. I'll make notes. And I'm like, well, there you go. That's why I feel like we're off. Like, things aren't right because we haven't connected. And
right. And again, things can kind of tie together here. So maybe it's because we're not going to bed on time and getting up on time, or sleep is off. So it's just, you know, we're not making the opportunity for that.
Jason, how many days a week do you poop?
Now?
Yes.
Almost every day.
Almost every day? Why do you know that you poop almost every day?
Because I track it. Track lots. I have a little, like, quasi bullet journal type of thing that I've got.
Did you say quasi? No one uses that word. Quasi. I
think, yeah.
No, as in like a bonsai? What's a quanzai?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, its own version of my little journaling system. So, I'll track different things, and that's one of them.
Pooping. Yeah. You should be pooping at least once a day. Once to twice a day. It's a sign of it's a sign of overall health. If you're not pooping every day.
I used to not. So it'd be maybe 3 times a week.
Are you not saying poop? You don't want to say the word poop?
Poop.
Oh, yes, you did. I used to poop all the freaking time because I had a jacked up stomach. Like, it was not a pleasant situation.
You might have needed to track for the opposite reason.
Yeah, if you're pooping too much, maybe you need to track that. It's a good thing to think about sometimes. Like, how often are you pooping? Write it down. If you're pooping once a day, high five to you, sister. You're doing it. If you're pooping 6 times a day, let's have a conversation. Like, it's just one more thing. It's in the big picture of overall health, overall lifestyle, things that we have or are currently tracking in the past. That's what we're doing today. It's just a reminder for you that things are going to come up that you feel like you want to improve or you feel like might not be completely right. Maybe you're just a little off. Then track it. Make a little note in a notebook that you keep in your purse. Use an app, get a fitness tracker, whatever the thing is that you want to track. Track it for a week or so and then look. Then you'll have the data. Then you'll know, am I not being completely truthful with myself? Am I actually not doing as great as I thought I was? Or am I doing way better than I thought I was? Because chances are it's usually that in many directions. But you won't know. You won't know how many times you're pooping. You won't know how many times you're having sex. Or you won't know that you can buy the new pair of red bottoms if you don't track it. So write it down. That's all we're here for. It'll show you where you are in the black and white and what you can tweak to improve upon it. And then the seasons will change and you'll need to focus on something else. Track that too, because you cannot improve what you don't measure. How do you like that? I started and ended with the quote.
Full circle.
I'm like a regular Pinterest board over here. I hope this was helpful. If you found it helpful, share it with a friend, because we've talked about New Year's is coming. Everybody's going to be looking at things and wanting to change all the things. And you shouldn't change all the things, do little by little, but B, you got to start somewhere, and starting with tracking. So if you think this would help them, text it over to them. Hey girl, I need you to listen to my friends Blaine and Jason, and as they break it down. You won't believe that in the same episode they talked about both poop and sex, because we did. Until next time.